Dune, the seminal work by Frank Herbert, is a mainstay of the science fiction genre. With the latest film adaptation of Mr. Herbert's work now on streaming and available in theaters, this is a good time to look at Dune's impact. Hi, I'm Jordan. Welcome to the show, wherein we look at Dune's past and future influence. Before we go any further, this video isn't about Dune's story or what the new movie got right versus wrong from the books. Rather, it's a look at Dune's cultural impact. There will be no spoilers in this video. I'll use some clips from the movie, but nothing that wouldn't be available in the trailers. That said, I would still recommend you watch the new movie before watching this video, mainly because it's a beautiful cinematic masterpiece, and also because that opening bit I did will make a lot more sense. Whether you're a longtime fan of Dune or are just now being exposed to it, Dune's influence has likely already reached you in one form or another. The Wheel of Time series, Warhammer 40,000, Stargate, and even Star Wars all bear Dune's influence in one form or another. Quite simply, there's no disputing that Dune is one of the most influential entries in the science fiction genre, if not the most. At least there's no disputing it if you don't want to be mobbed by angry nerds. Although, the outrage clicks. Nope, not worth it. Dune's legacy has carried its influence far and wide, even to those who are unaware of its reach. So, how will the new movie project that legacy even further? Dune's legacy is well cemented, and there's no doubting Frank Herbert's place among the pantheon of science fiction greats. Dune will continue to be a beloved and influential story, but this future legacy I'm referring to doesn't belong to the books. Rather, it belongs to this new movie. There's still more that Dune has to share with broader pop culture. Specifically, there are still broad swathes of science fiction that the new Dune movie can make more accessible. To see what Dune can still do for science fiction, let's take a look at what The Lord of the Rings did for fantasy. Much like Frank Herbert's Dune, J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings trilogy clearly influenced the works that followed it. Tolkien's works have always been held in high regard among fans of the genre. However, it wasn't until the film adaptations of The Lord of the Rings in the early 2000s that the series really entered the broader cultural consciousness. And once Peter Jackson's trilogy brought fantasy to the fore of the zeitgeist, fantasy works started popping up everywhere in pop culture, notably with Game of Thrones and The Witcher. Both Game of Thrones and The Witcher existed prior to the Lord of the Rings films. However, it wasn't until the trilogy made fantasy cool that there was any great interest in producing fantasy films or TV shows. A similar phenomenon can be seen with properties based on comics and graphic novels. Although the exact moment movies made comic book stories mainstream is up for debate. Properties influenced by Dune, such as Star Wars, have already paved the way for science fiction in cinema and pop culture. However, there are broad tonal differences between Star Wars and Dune. Star Wars opened up pop culture to its particular brand of science fiction. However, there are darker and more sinister stories to be told in the dreams of far-off futures. Warhammer 40,000 is a prime example. To truly bring the grim darkness of the 41st millennium to screens would require subjecting audiences to levels of bleak suffering and human misery that would make the worst Game of Thrones has to offer look like an episode of Little House on the Prairie. There's no serious production company that would put money behind a project like that. And that is the future legacy of the new Dune movie. At least, that's the future I see. This newest adaptation of Frank Herbert's iconic work does not shy from the source material's esoteric oddities or the unnervingly alien qualities of divergent human civilizations. It's not afraid to show you something that wouldn't look out of place in a horror film and say, this is normal. I predict that the newest Dune movie will do for darker, bleaker science fiction what The Lord of the Rings did for fantasy. And as a fan of Warhammer 40,000, that thought alone has me grinning from ear to ear. If you think I missed or misinterpreted something, or if you have a topic for a video you'd like to see me do, leave it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing. And if you'd like to see more content from Wherein, you can check out my links in the description below. That's all from me for now, so until next time, thanks for watching. At least, that's the future I see. Denis Villeneuve... At least, that's the future I see. This latest adaptation of Frank Herbert's iconic work